All right. Hi, everyone. Oh, click my got it button. Hi, everyone. I'm Mary Beth Ferrante. I am the head of the Parent Volunteer. And so just wanted to welcome everyone to our first all parent meeting. So excited to have you all here. And just wanted to do a final shout out. If you haven't volunteered yet and you are still super excited to get involved with the ECE community, we are definitely taking volunteers. We could use a little additional support in fundraising and parent outreach, especially. But if you want to get involved, we are ready and able to help you get involved. So please let us know. I'm going to talk a little bit more, but I'm going to first turn it over to Claudine and Rabbi Sarah for some updates.
Hi, everybody. So welcome again. It's really good to see so many here for the first meeting. It is probably the most that we've had in a meeting for one of our ECE parent meetings. I do think a lot of that has to do with the fact also have been teasing a little teaser about this meeting that I was going to be making some exciting announcements, and I am. And so I'm going to do the first announcement, and I think everybody's going to find this pretty exciting. So I'm going to turn it over to Rabbi Sarah. I think everybody has met her, but if you haven't, your kiddos talk about her a lot. I know that. Sometimes they mix the two of us up, but she's up there in the top corner for me. So
when I speak, I'll probably be in the top corner for them too. Hi, everybody. It is so awesome to see you. And it has been just a blast hanging out with your kiddos for Shabbat and all of these holidays. They are dancing with Torahs. They are holding a yad. They're just like delicious and yummy, and celebrating with them is the best part of my week. I can tell you that much. Don't tell my own children I said that. But your kids are just yummy. That being said, we are delighted to be able to see some of you more in person. So the kiddos get time with us, but we haven't spent time with you guys as families. And Tot Shabbat last year was like, okay, but it wasn't great because we were only virtual. So this year we'll be bringing Tot Shabbat back in person, back on campus. Tot Shabbat is about a 6 to 6:30 timeframe. The first one is October 29th, and we will invite some of you to stay virtual, but we're going to invite a cohort to be present at Tot Shabbat. So when your kiddo's cohort is invited, we're going to encourage you to come. The adults must be vaccinated to accompany their kiddos, and they will dance, and they will sing, and they will groove. And then before you blink, it'll be over, and they will be in the car, possibly falling asleep on the way home. But it runs from about 6 to 6:30. The first one is October the 29th, and most of them are themed, and this one is superhero themed. And so you all can dress up as your favorite superhero and tell us why it's your favorite superhero. They can make up their own superhero character, whatever works for them. And so we will be inviting you by cohort, and it'll be listed on the parent portal. So you can save the date in your calendar for all the future ones as well. And of course, we will be Facebook Living it, so you can join us and dance at home and sing and play and do all that good stuff. But Tot Shabbat, yay, 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 will be live. It'll be outside under the tent, weather permitting, it will be happening. So tent gives us some protection. I'm pretty excited. So we'll see you on October the 29th for Tot Shabbat.
Thank you, Rabbi Sarah. So I know this is something that a lot of families have really been missing, and we are really excited thank you for the plug about the parent portal, by the way. Awesome. On the parent portal, there is a little grid that talks about all of the different events. And so you can know ahead of time when your cohort will get that opportunity to help lead Shabbat and be participatory here on site with all of you. So if you're not sure, you can check there. We are giving our Mahina kiddos 2 opportunities. So their cohorts will be coming twice because it's their last year in our ECE. And so the other cohorts will be getting an opportunity to do it at least once. And then we'll kind of see how this all works. Again, the name of the game is to be flexible, as we have been for the last year and a half. And I'm going to move into now some of those COVID updates before I do some more announcements. The good news is, as I've said in my communications, is that COVID-19 cases are shrinking. They're lowering in Los Angeles County, which is great news. We're excited about that. It doesn't take away from the fact that it's still important to be vigilant, and we are continuing to do that. You may see that, especially if your kiddos are in other schools, that in LA County, they have given some more options, as they're calling it, for quarantining and for exposures. The challenge with early childhood is that there is still that 14 days of when somebody can come down with COVID. So what we're finding is that even though we have some flexibility in some of those parameters, every situation is different and every situation still needs a conversation. So we're not going to be saying that our quarantining will be exactly this. We're going to stick with the guidelines we've been using, and we will take each situation as it comes. It's sort of like when you ask me about certain traveling, sometimes we need to just get on a phone call and talk that out. And I really appreciate that people have been so forthcoming. It does take time on our end, but that time really helps minimize and mitigate any kind of exposures. So there's no general guideline that's changing. I can just tell you that as the guidelines change, it helps us be even more thoughtful, and that need to being thoughtful is more important. We are, as you know, started broader cohorting. So this year we are cohorting with more classrooms as a cohort. And I talked about this in the orientation. I talked about this at back to school night. The reasons for doing it right now, very much the positive outweighs the negative. The negative being that if there's an exposure to a cohort, that might be something we have to navigate in a slightly different way than having it just be in a classroom. But we have had so much success with your kiddos being outdoors. I really want to share the dramatic difference in that social emotional growth from your children, having the opportunities to be outdoors with more children. It really makes a difference. We were able to bring back our enrichments, as everybody knows, because we were able to do that in cohorts. We were able to do the mini camps again, hopefully in the winter and in the spring, because we can do these in cohorts. So it really, really matters. And we're excited that we've been able to do that. But we do need your partnership, continuing to be vigilant. You know, I had a family call me this week because they were going to go to a wedding, and talking that out is really important sometimes. So please don't be shy. Please let us know and continue to practice all of those things that you can do on your end with doing things outdoors, making sure that people are vaccinated that you're spending time with if you can, making sure that you're keeping those distances. All of those things will really help. And so we really appreciate that. The other pieces, as I shared last week, I believe it was, we're starting to see more, and they talked about this on our public health call, more cold viruses. And so because of that, this is that time of year, we typically see it. It's just really important that you do keep your kiddos home, because sometimes for children and for people who are having a breakthrough virus who are vaccinated or having a COVID exposure or COVID illness, and they've been vaccinated, or their children, the symptoms can present themselves more like the common cold. So it's a part of why we're being so vigilant. I cannot say this enough about our families. You truly, truly have been amazing at keeping your children home, being patient with the process, answering the questions that we have, following through when there needs to be tests taken. We've just had such amazing partnership, and I really appreciate that. I want to talk a little bit about late care. We have built it. We're ready for you to come. Our late care, we have space. We have more room to grow, and late care is anything past that 6 hours. So for nursery kiddos, your kiddos are here for the 3 hours, and then you may have extended day until 6 hours. That late care is anything past those 6 hours. And we have the staff and we have the room. I know it's starting to change right now. Now that we're getting back into this first full week of school, families are starting to explore that. We're starting to get more interest, more emails. People are calling Carla. So please let us know. I just want to give a reminder, though, that if you have not called us to say you're leaving your child for drop-in care. So for example, let's say you normally pick your kiddo up at 2:30, but you've come to get them on any given day, let's say at 3. If we didn't know, what we've said is we do need to charge you that if you're late, $5 a minute fee. We haven't been doing that. We have been waiving that and giving people that drop-in rate. But if you haven't let us know, because now I'm sending teachers home if we don't need them. So if you don't let us know that you're going to utilize drop-in care that day, and we ask that you let us know by 10, but even just letting us know an hour ahead of time is helpful, then you will be charged that late fee per minute. So to avoid that, please let us know that you're going to be utilizing later care. And you can always do drop-in. It's $13 an hour. It's way cheaper than $5 a minute. So keep us informed, let us know. We have the staff to do it, but as I said, we may send them home if we don't need them on any given day. The other thing I want to talk about is new teacher hours, new teacher office hours, we're calling them. You may have noticed on the parent portal, I talked about it on the homepage, and each teacher put it on their classroom page, that they will be hosting time for you to just connect. It doesn't necessarily need to be like, oh, I've got this challenge. Or it could be like, I'm having this problem at home. I really want to get the teacher's advice. It's a regular time that you can always count on as knowing that the teachers are available. It's for a half hour, 1 day a week at minimum. That only allows for about 3 parents on that given day. But the teachers will help organize that. So for example, let's say there's 5 people that are interested, they'll help you find another time. They're always available for that, but it really gives everybody kind of this time to check in. And if the teachers are finding themselves not having somebody fill that time, they may reach out to you to say, hey, nobody signed up for this time. Can we just do a quick check-in? I want to hear more about what's going on at home. I want to know how your kiddo is. I want to learn a little bit more about what they're interested in. So we really wanted to promote more of that connection to what's going on in your child's classroom, because I know families are missing that. So that was the intention behind that. So I hope everybody will utilize that time. And again, it doesn't have to be that you have a challenge. It could just be you want to talk to the teacher. You want learn a little bit more about what your kiddo's doing. Big announcements. So the biggest feedback we've been getting is that families want to be here. You joined the synagogue. You have become a part of your child's first schooling experience to build community. And while we feel like we did a pretty good job of it last year, it's not the same as being in here. And the biggest thing I heard from everybody, even just popping into those back to school classroom visits after back to school brunch day, was, can we just come in and see our child's classroom? So we found some ways to have you here safely, and ways to start piloting this and to have more of you on site. The first one, Rabbi Sarah talked about it, Tot Shabbat. We want families to feel like they can be here, be connected to the synagogue. I love that the clergy is so passionate about this, so I hope folks will take advantage of that. The second thing is parent-teacher conferences. You want to be in the classroom, we get it. So we're going to have options for you to come and do your parent-teacher meeting on site. If you choose to do it on Zoom, that's okay. We also recognize that some people love being on Zoom because they can do it from anywhere. So when you get the Sign Up Genius, you will notice that there are Zoom options and there are in-person options. Let's say you're somebody that needs a Zoom and all of the Zoom options are taken. Go ahead and sign up for an in-person time and the teacher will work that out, or email the teacher and the teacher can work that out for you. Zooms are a little easier to schedule in the mornings. So that might be something that they might do it on a different morning or a different afternoon. If you're somebody that really wants an in-person one and there wasn't enough time slots for that, again, reach out to the teacher, because we really want to accommodate so that everybody can have the opportunity to come to the classroom if you want to come into the classroom. Here's the only requirement, is that we do require vaccinations. So if you're a 2-parent household and both parents want to come, both parents need to be vaccinated. Otherwise, one person can come as long as that one person is vaccinated. And we are working through the best way to load up that proof of vaccination. We will get back to you on that. I know a lot of you shared your vaccination status with us voluntarily. So we are feeling pretty confident that the vast majority of our families, our parents are vaccinated. As Rabbi said, same for Tot Shabbat. Anybody that's taking advantage of any of these in-person opportunities just needs to show proof of vaccination and to be vaccinated. In addition to parent-teacher conferences, we are going to bring back in-person Shabbats for your kiddo. So if you've ever been a parent here before, you know that's a really special thing. Your child gets to be the Shabbat kiddo in the classroom, and then the parents can come, or a parent or a family member can come and see and experience that part with the rabbis, and then a little bit of the blessing piece back in the classroom. And so we're going to bring that back. That's why there hasn't been a lot of Shabbat sign up information and or information about Shabbat kiddos in the classroom, because we've been trying to figure this piece out. So you will be getting another sign up through Sign Up Genius for that as well, so that you can sign up with a time that hopefully suits your schedule, so that you can come in and be a part of Shabbat and be in the classroom and get a glimpse of what it's like during their day. So these two in-person opportunities in the school day, one when kids aren't here so that you can just absorb the classroom a little bit, and the other being when children are here. And then in addition, an event for the synagogue. We're going to start with these three things. We have another announcement of some more in-person possibilities. I'm going to let the outreach people talk about that when it's their turn on our little agenda here in this meeting. But I'm so excited that we've figured out a way. I'm really happy. I'm hopeful that, I know everybody's comfort level is different, and that's okay. I'm hopeful that those of you that do feel comfortable will be trying this out and giving us some feedback about how it feels for you. So we're really excited, and definitely watch out for these Sign Up Geniuses that will be coming in the next couple of days. We're shooting to have the conference Sign Up Genius go out sometime tomorrow is the hope. We just want to have all the teachers get eyes on it and give us their feedback. Samantha has put that together. She's done a really thoughtful job. And so that will go out. It will be one email. You'll have to find your classroom. You'll need to indicate whether you're a Zoom or whether you are an in-person. You will notice that those are blocks of times as well. So there's a block of time for Zooms and a block of time for in-person and a block of time for Zoom. Again, if you don't get the one that you want, meaning you don't get an in-person and you want an in-person, reach out to the teachers. We will help navigate that. I'm going to take a breath. I'm going to turn it back to Mary Beth.
Thank you. And I just want to say I am so thrilled with all of this news. And I just want to thank you, Claudine, and everyone on your team for figuring out ways for all of us to be able to be in the classroom. I'm almost crying over the fact that we get to do classroom Shabbat, because that is so special. And so for all of the new families, it's just a really incredible experience. And I hope that you take that opportunity to do that with your child if you feel safe to do so. So just a couple other quick announcements before we turn it over to some of our committees. So the first one is just that we have Picture Day coming up. You'll get a reminder from your room parent, but it's October 14th. So mark your calendars, make sure you brush their hair in the morning, pick a cuter outfit maybe, or at least a clean one, and you'll be all set for Picture Day. We also are kicking off our Wacky Wednesday events. And so that's a fun opportunity for kids to express themselves and to feel like they're a part of the broader community. And so that will be starting on October 20th with Neon Day. So you have plenty of time to hit your local Target. And then the last thing that I just want to share is we are really focusing, and I know we've said this at back to school brunch and other occasions, but we're really focusing on streamlining communication. So please, please, please use that parent portal. As you've noticed from the weekly emails from Claudine and Shannon, it really doesn't say much and just directs you to that parent portal, which is the intent, to get you to have some time there and see all of the announcements, but also spend some time checking out your child's classroom. And then know that you can always reach out to your room parent if you have any questions or you're confused about something. They are also a great liaison to the broader team. And of course, your teachers are available as well. And so you'll be getting emails from your room parents and Claudine and Shannon, really directing you to these resources. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Lisa, who's going to give us a quick update on some upcoming fundraisers that we'll be doing.
Hi, everybody. Myself, Lisa, and another Lisa P. We are, so if you need fundraising, just say Lisa and somebody will be there for you. So that's pretty awesome. Team Lisa. Yeah, so we're going to have some good fundraisers. We've kind of talked about it back to school, but just to give you a very brief overview of kind of what the school year is going to look like, we're going to start with a restaurant night this month. There's Lisa P. Hi. Okay. We're going to start with the restaurant night. We're working on the location. We're thinking probably Mendocino Farms, but basically this is probably the easiest fundraiser. It's going to be, we'll publicize it, sorry. And it'll be, everyone, please go to Mendocino Farms, or again, I think it'll be Mendo, eat at the restaurant, and we get a portion of the proceeds. So we're going to kind of start the year with a very simple kickoff. It's really fun. It'll be yummy. And so that'll be towards the end of this month. And then our very popular Thanksgiving Day fundraiser is coming up, which if you haven't been here before, basically every class is going to make a beautiful Thanksgiving centerpiece. And let me tell you, they're adorable. Each classroom makes one, and they usually says like what your kid is thankful for. It's adorable and sweet. And there will be a raffle. So you will be able to buy raffle tickets to win those Thanksgiving centerpieces. And it makes an amazing addition to your Thanksgiving table. I don't know how, somehow I won it last year, which didn't seem right, but I did win it. It was fair and square. I didn't pull the ticket. And now it's just going to be a part of our table forever. So I highly encourage everyone to participate in that because it's your kids' artwork. And then kind of that will take us through the fall. And then in the spring, I think in falling in line with hopefully more in-person events, which I personally, again, thank you so much to Claudine and the leadership. I couldn't be happier to try to this is my last year. I want to get in the classroom. I want to be a part of this community before I leave it. So we're going to try to do some fundraising in person, whether it's, maybe a sponsored kind of like a wine sommelier night where you can buy a ticket to enjoy an event. We're going to get creative. And that's why anyone who wants to join our committee and has ideas, please let us know, because we want to try to do, again, safe, COVID safe, in-person kind of events to help raise funds for our school. And then there will be a Mother's Day fundraiser. Last year we did art projects where each kid created a piece of art through the classroom, and then you could buy the art in different, various products like a notepad or clothing. So we may do that again. It's looking like we will. But again, if you're interested and have ideas, join the fundraising team. We're always open. We want to hear from you. And that's a bit of the overview of what the year is going to look like. We're not going to ask too much of you, but it'll all be really fun. So hope you can participate. Thank you guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Lisa. And again, great ways to get involved in very easy fundraising. So nothing too painful or difficult to do. And now I'm going to turn it over to Annie. And I'm not sure if Jeff is here too, but definitely Annie, who's going to talk a little bit about our parent outreach events coming up.
Yeah, so piggybacking off of the exciting announcements from Claudine and Rabbi Sarah about our ability to facilitate in-person experiences for both Shabbat and in the classroom, we'll be leaning on the parent outreach reps from each of the classrooms to help facilitate that additional connection within each of your individual classrooms. So that we're looking for that to be both a blend of virtual and in-person experiences, but really kind of casual, fun family get-togethers or parent get-togethers for each of your individual classrooms. And so we're really excited about those opportunities, more to come for the fall and then in the spring as well. And if anybody has any ideas on additional events, please reach out to us. We're really open and eager to make this a fun experience for each of the classes.
Awesome. Thanks, Annie. And you can expect to have kind of your first meet and greet with your classroom probably later this month or early November. So we're going to get that out pretty quickly here so that you can get to know the other parents in your classroom. So thanks to Annie and all of the people on the parent outreach team making that happen. And I think that kind of covers off on our immediate updates. So I'm going to turn it back over to Claudine.
Yeah, I'm just going to make a couple of quick announcements of the upcoming things that we have coming up, so you can kind of keep this on your radar. Again, everything is on the portal, so you'll find it there. We do have our first speaker series. It's coming up on November 9th. You'll hear more about that. That most likely will be in the morning. As I said, we're trying to find these sweet spots of where is best for people to come to these meetings. And so that most likely will be in the morning, closer to like 9:30 after drop off, but we will let you know. It will be publicized. You'll hear more about that. The other really important meeting that's coming up is the Pathways for Mahina. Last year, we tried something a little bit different. These Pathways meetings, we ask families to come, at least one family member to come to help learn more about how to navigate through the years that you're here in our ECE and beyond. There are just typical questions that we get every year, and in particular around that transition from preschool or early childhood into elementary school. And a lot of those questions come up for our pre-K earlier in the year, because of the fact that you have to start applying, or you're considering where you might be applying to a magnet program or something of that nature. So we started doing the Mahina one in November. And for the rest of everybody else, it typically happens at the end of January or February. And I have to check the portal to remember when we have it, but it's already in the calendar and it's already on the portal. So that's where I will go to get myself reminded. But the November one for Mahina is coming up on November 18th. Because again, we want to make sure that the Mahina families feel like they know what their next steps will be. And we do that in conjunction. Typically, the head of our elementary school is there to help answer some of those questions. And often Rabbi Kira is there to help answer any questions about religious school and those next steps, so that we keep our families here in this community. Mary Beth, you want me just announce, since I've got the mic going, I'll just go ahead and announce the parent meetings. The next parent meetings are December 7th and April 5th. Those are the next 2 meetings of this nature where we come and do announcements of things that are happening in the school. That doesn't mean that you can't reach out to one of us. As Mary Beth said, your room parents are there for you. Your teachers are there for you. I am here for you. We're here to help you navigate being here in these really important years. So if something comes up in between meetings, you'll reach out to one of us and let us know. I will stay on for a couple of minutes. If people do have questions, I can stay on. I want to be cognizant of everybody's time. We really try to keep these meetings down to a half hour, 45 minutes at the max. And when we're on Zoom, for whatever reason, we tend to be a little bit more on time with everything. So that's great. And Mary Beth, you have your hand up. Do you have a question?
I actually do have a question, which is, can siblings come to Tot Shabbat?
Yes, siblings can come to Tot Shabbat. Great question.
That's it.
All
Simple.
right. Awesome. Stephanie, I see Stephanie's hand.
Would you guys consider doing early drop off again?
So with early drop off, the challenge right now is that we still have to do the car line, but we are looking at that. That's one of the things that I have said that we were looking at, and we still are. And we promised ourselves that we would look at that probably in October. So sticking with all of the things that I really don't say anything that I don't intend to do, which is to really look at first having some sort of in-person things, which we have been able to plan. And the next thing that we're going to try to navigate is, can we do something different than the car line? And if so, that's when we would be able to bring back early care.
Thank you.
Yeah, Michael, I see your hand.
Hey, Claudine, just a
Hi.
question around, sorry if you already mentioned this, about masking outdoors. I know there was a period last year when we didn't have to mask outdoors. Have there been any guidance or changes in that in your thinking?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing around that, you're right, we did do the no masks outdoors. And again, the positives and the negatives is what we were constantly weighing. And the positives are, what we are seeing is the fact that particularly with our young children, being able to see our faces, being able to see the formation of words, the expression, that's really the driving force between wanting to have some time without masks. With the Delta, we stopped allowing that because we really wanted to see what the trajectory of this is. Now that the numbers are starting to go down, that'll be a part of that conversation. And I have that conversation not just within our own staff, but with what are the trends of the other preschools? What have other preschools tried? What are they doing? There are 2 preschools not particularly close to here that are piloting that a little bit right now. And I will want to see what their infections are like and exposures are like and how they've navigated that before I make a decision. But yes, we are talking about that. And I don't mean I do this in conjunction with our large COVID response team.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. Lisa, I see your hand, and Jamie, and then Sean, I see your hand as well.
Hey, this is kind of a question in line with the early care. There used to be opportunities with the ECE to come early and have your kid play on the playground if you were a little bit early. I would love to if we throw that into the conversation as well, because this is self-serving, but there's definitely a handful of us that drop their kids off at the elementary school. And then we have like an odd 20, 25 minutes of just like driving around or parking like cul-de-sac just to chill. And I was just wondering if that might be part of your discussion, because what used to be right, your parents, you could just play with your kid on the playground and then drop them off. So I just wanted to throw that into the conversation unless you guys are talking about other options. That could be nice too.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be really honest about that. I don't foresee that happening in the near future. And there's a few reasons around that. First of all, for those of you that have never been here, that was something that I was very proud of that we did here. It was something that I started as the director a couple years after I took over in this director role. And it was a wonderful way to a lot of things, to build community, to help families, particularly who were dropping off at the elementary school with that downtime. If a child was struggling with using our bathroom, the parents could take them into the bathroom during that time and help them learn about our potties. I mean, there were so many wonderful things about it. So Lisa, I miss it. The teachers miss it. We all miss it. It is one of those things though, where we would then be crossing cohorts and parents and having to navigate vaccination and all of that. So I would love to get there. I can only wrap my brain around one thing at a time. And each of these things are not small decisions. They're really large decisions. So I'm going to be honest, just to manage expectations. I know a lot of us are missing that. It's definitely we're dreaming about it, but it's a little bit farther than figuring out early care and drop off. But yeah, I know. We miss it. I 100% agree with you.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, of course. Jamie.
For in-person parent-teacher conferences, which I'm going to echo everybody else, I am like almost to tears thinking we get to come back on campus for just a few small things. Because there's no school that day, will there be childcare like there was prior?
Yes, so childcare, there won't be all day care. At least that's not something that we're planning on right now. Shannon, you and I will have to wrap our brain around that thought. But what Shannon and I are working on is, again, care in the cohorts, just like they do at outside time. So what will probably happen is you'll get notification right before parent-teacher conferences that during your 20-minute conference where you can take your kid out. And so they'll probably do something similar to what we do right now, where kids go out in their cohort outside. So cohort A, for example, I'm just throwing this out there, may be on the small yard. Cohort D may be on the large yard, et cetera, et cetera. So you will know where to drop your kiddo off per their cohort if you're going to bring them during your parent-teacher conferences. Just like parent-teacher conferences in the past, though, we don't take siblings, right? It has to be somebody in our program already. If you have siblings in a different cohort coming on site, that's fine. They would just need to go to their cohort where their cohort is outside space. So, yeah, we're looking at that. It's a puzzle like everything else, but we're going to put that puzzle together and give you plenty of time to know. Just know that that will be a possibility. As far as where your kiddo will be going, that will be coming a little bit closer to parent-teacher conference time.
Thank you.
Yeah, Shauna, I think you're next.
Hi, Claudine. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yep.
My audio was a little weird earlier, so I'm happy it works.
You're good.
So if we're coming for in-person or virtual, for the conference, it's still happening on just that one day on the 29th, correct?
Correct. Thank you for asking that, though, because sometimes families say to us, I can only do early meetings. And the teachers will try to accommodate that. I will tell you it's pretty hard on them. So whatever you can do to try to make it work, but they will find another time if it really cannot work, or if something happens, because life does get in the way. We are a lot more accommodating than maybe you might see like in elementary school and later years in their schooling. We can do that, but if you can try to make it work on that day, we really ask that you do. But yes, it is just the one day.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't see any other hands. So I think, first of all, again, I mean, amazing. And so many people stuck with this entire thing. So I'm so proud of everybody. Thank you for hanging in there. I'm so thankful to everybody for joining. And we are recording this, as you all saw at the beginning. I think, Shannon, you can take us off of recording now. And we